going to be filming a story time video about the time I vandalized school property. And no, this is not clickbait. I did vandalize school property and I'm about to tell you all about it. So to give you a little bit of background, I was a very strange kid. I'm not kidding, I only recently became normal. I don't even know how to explain how I was weird. It's just the things that I thought were normal, like in the eyes of other people, were like, what is she doing? Like, that girl's a little off her rocker. I just remember that I was like a misfit kid, and I thought everyone liked me, but in reality everyone was like, that girl's weird, we're gonna stay away from her, kind of thing. And I was that kid that loved to like do like dangerous, like risky things that would get me in trouble, and I liked to like recruit people to help me do those things so like I wasn't alone. Keep in mind, this was all like back in the day, like in elementary school, early middle school. I swear I'm normal now. So in elementary school, first grade specifically, I had this best friend named Kelsey. We're still friends to this day, but she moved away, so we don't go to the same school anymore, but we're definitely still in touch. Okay, so here's where the story begins. Once upon a time, on a normal first grade day in elementary school, Kelsey and I were walking to either recess or lunch from our first grade classroom. And as we're walking there, I see a Sharpie laying in the grass, like it's waiting for me. And I like thought it was the coolest thing ever. I was like, oh my gosh, Kelsey, someone left a Sharpie just sitting in the grass, like we should take it. Like I thought I was so cool. So I take the Sharpie and it's like one of those like tiny ones, and I was like, Kelsey, we should like show people where our classroom is. I think she's like, what? Like, what are you saying? So I took the Sharpie and I walked back to where our first grade classroom was, and I wrote on the pillar, like I don't know if you guys have like pillars in your school, you know. Anyways, I wrote Emma and Kelsey's classroom, like with arrows, a bunch of arrows, like in Sharpie on the pillar. And I guess I thought it was okay. And then so like I walked back to where the Sharpie was, and I literally wrote all around the surrounding classrooms, because they kind of like face each other. They're like, I don't know how to describe it, but all the classrooms are kind of facing each other. So I went like all around this whole wing where my classroom is, and I'm writing like arrows like, this is my classroom this way. And then once you got to the actual classroom, it's like, Emma and Kelsey's classroom here. Okay, and I'm like totally like this, there's nothing wrong with this, right? But if there's nothing wrong with it, why would I have written Kelsey's name all over it? I don't know, it's a mystery to you and me. Anyway, so I go on with my day, lunch ends or recess ends, whatever it was. I believe it was lunch actually, because we had like story time afterwards. Anyway, we come back in the classroom and we're having story time on the rainbow carpet. Shout out to all you people that like used to sit on a rainbow carpet in elementary school, those are the days. Anyway, we're sitting, our teacher's reading us a story, and the phone rings. And like I don't think anything of it, and then all of a sudden, you can like the classroom gets dead silent and you can hear like the person on the other line, and the teacher was like, are Emma and Kelsey in your classroom? And the teacher's like facing her desk, and she turns around to like the kids and looks at Kelsey and I, and, you know, I'm just kind of like, la 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 la. And she looks at us and she's like, yes. I didn't hear like what else the other person on the line said, but she hung up the phone and she like took us outside the classroom. She's like, Emma and Kelsey, like come here. And she told us to go to the principal's office. And by this time I was like, oh my gosh, I'm really in trouble now. And like I knew it was for the writing on the wall. And so we go to the principal's office, and I just remember I was throwing a tantrum. Like I had like no restraints. I was just, like this isn't fair. Like I was trying to help, like all this stuff. And Kelsey's, you know, sitting there all calm and collected, like she's like inside, she's like shaking up and she's like shaking. And I'm just like, no, like I didn't do anything wrong. She was telling us like how this is not okay, blah blah. Like you're vandalizing the school property. You're writing in Sharpie on school property. Like you don't do that. And so I got this slip to take home, and she sent us back to our classroom. And Kelsey, you know, she walks in calm and collected to continue story time. And then me, on the other hand, I was furious. I was like, this isn't fair! I was like crying and screaming. And so I vividly remember my first grade teacher made me sit in the hallway. Like, so all the other classrooms are like they're all next to each other in the hallway. And I can't describe it, but they're all like sandwiched next to each other. So I'm sitting in the middle of the hallway in between all the other classes, and I'm just throwing a tantrum. I didn't even care. Like I didn't care that everyone was like, ooh, that girl, like what's wrong with her, kind of thing. Because all I was thinking was, I got this slip from the principal's office, like my parents need to sign this, I'm gonna be in so much trouble. So the school day ends and I go to after school daycare, and I'm still furious. I took the slip from the principal and I threw it in the trash, and I remember this trash can like exactly. I remember I like pressed the pedal to open the trash can, and I crumpled it up like thinking I was all sly, I was gonna get away with this, and I threw it in the trash, and I like went home like nothing was wrong. And then I remember like either the next day or a couple days later, like Kelsey turned in her slip, and they're like, where's yours? And like, obviously they're gonna ask me for it back, right? I'm not gonna get away with this like I thought I did. So then I ended up getting in more trouble for throwing away the paper than I would have, because I like lied about it and tried to get away with it. And then I remember I was on the playground with Kelsey a few days later or something, and I was like trying to like just resume our friendship, and she's like, my mom said I can't hang out with you for at least 3 months. And I'm like, what? The day afterwards, the custodians, like multiple custodians, had to use like some heavy duty supplies to get that Sharpie off. And I remember they were scrubbing away and like writing around their carts all to all the places I had written on, and like scrubbing and scrubbing. And I remember I didn't care. I wasn't empathetic. I was just like, whatever, like, okay, there's no problem. They're cleaning it up. It's being taken care of. I was such a bad kid. I don't think I had a sense of right and wrong. I think I kind of just did. You know, I see the Sharpie, I'm like, ooh, bright idea. We should write all over the walls. I got in trouble almost every day. I remember being picked up from school, and every day the teacher would have to take my parents aside and tell them that I wasn't behaving today. So that's my story time video for today. I hope you guys found this entertaining and like kind of like a side of me you never knew existed. But it does, or it did. It doesn't anymore. I would never write all over school property. God forbid I would get expelled. So anyways, Kelsey and I did eventually get close again, and I learned that I needed to get myself together and behave myself. And we are still friends to this day. She does not have a restraining order against me, so God bless. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this story time video, and I will definitely try to like think of some other times in elementary school or middle school when I just did really stupid things and got in trouble. I have been to the principal's office multiple times, not in high school, but in elementary school and middle school. Like, I was used to it. They knew my face in those offices. It was pretty sad. But it is safe to say I turned out normal despite my weird childhood. Anyways, I really hope you guys enjoyed this story time, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!
Where are you now that I need